4x8 and we're off. As we will take you through Heat 3 here. St. Joe's, local squad, Ryder, Temple, Johns Hopkins, Rowan, Marist, Vassar, Stroudsburg, Adelphi, NYU, Stevens Institute, Iona, and Rutgers. St. Joe's, now you're having coach's coach. Penn poached Claire Hewitt from St. Joe's a few years back, and that's been an integral part of Dolan's staff. So we've got, right now, Rutgers leading this field. Rutgers, Iona, NYU, a couple D3 schools in here. Now, Julie, you went to D1 school, not a power conference school. Is there any pride, at smaller school takes? And, was it fun to you to go to a meet and beat someone from a, proverbial power conference school?
Well, when I was running, James Madison was kind of on the rise. Had never had any All-Americans, never had any NCAA qualifiers. And, we came to Penn, somehow ended up in the Championship of America 4x15. And for most of the race, we kind of led off our stronger runners and had more of a 10K girl anchoring our 4x15. But for most of the race, we were neck and neck with Villanova. And that was when they were in their prime. So, even though we ended up finishing fourth, that is one of my fondest track and field memories, that we weren't supposed to be up there,
right,
and we were. And I think there's always that David and Goliath feeling, and I think it's a tremendous amount of pride.
As in this section, we see Rutgers and Iona leading, and then a couple D3 schools behind them, and Hopkins and NYU. I think that is, Rutgers leading this one from Iona, BG right behind them. That's Temple, the local squad, leading Hopkins and NYU. And then behind them will be Ryder out of New Jersey. So we have Rutgers, Iona. Looking like Hopkins will hand off.
Decent split for these ladies.
Absolutely.
We've got 213.
213,
214.
Rutgers, Iona. NYU. Hopkins on the rail behind them. Temple, Ryder, Rowan. A couple D3 schools as well. Stevens Institute.
The Mid-Atlantic battle going on here.
That's right, yeah. The cross-divisional Mid-Atlantic Invitational here. So Rutgers, Iona, NYU, Ryder moving up, Johns Hopkins. Coming up after this, we've got the men's 4x8. Now, Penn State didn't really bring out the big guns in the SMR or the 4x mile, so that, what that means, Julie, 800U is going for it big time. They own the Penn Relays record of 7:11. That was 31 years ago.
Can they get it?
Collegiate
That's
record,
my question for you.
7:08, also in mortal danger this evening. So Rutgers leading us, 63 lap there. So it's Rutgers, Iona, Ryder, NYU, Temple, and Hopkins. And so the 800U, the Gondaddy, John Gondak, coaching them up.
What's your prediction? Can they get that record?
It's today has not been kind to records, though we did see the boys 4x1 tied the Penn Relays record. So clearly out there.
10 degrees warmer, I would say yes. It's just still, like 60 degrees, the clouds are rolling in.
Right.
So typically for the 800, I think a little bit warmer is better.
Yeah, and mid-D guys tend not to be that, I love the cold. They tend to, enjoy a warm spring day. Yes, Penn State. Georgetown also has Joe White, 146 guy in there. Georgia Tech, the defending champs, scheduled to run. Will they get it? Is it more important to Penn State to break that record or win the race? I think, they'll kind of get through those first few legs, probably have crease on there early. And we'll see what's as we get through the second exchange here in about another 2:15 split. Rutgers, Ryder, Iona, NYU in there, the D3 squad. Temple and Hopkins making up the rest of the front group as they're about 15 meters behind the top four. Rutgers leading Iona, leading the other two right now. I mean, that would be the making of a legend at the Penn Relays, Julie, if Crease and Kidder and Harris, if that's who runs, were able to break down a 31-year-old record. Seems like every year we come to Penn and we say, oh, you know, this squad's got a couple 146 guys. You know, well, this guy's split 145 in high school. And then we, you know, go a thrilling race at 7:15, and that Penn State meet record hangs on another day.
But again, the theme of the weekend has been racing, you know,
yes.
And so I think there's not too many coaches in America that would put the record over the win.
Yes.
So I think we'll see them just compete hard, and if a record comes from that, that would be cool.
Yes. So Rutgers and Iona leading this one. NYU, Ryder, Hopkins, Temple behind them. Rutgers and Iona in control. As we are about to cross 6 minutes on the clock here and approach the final exchange in this final section of the women's 4x8. Now, Julie, do you see any natural challengers to Penn State, or is it their race to lose?
I think Georgetown could be a challenger. If you know, a lot of this, when you have a bunch of guys that have been under 150, a lot of it is the roll of the dice of, do you put the right order out there, you know? But I think Georgetown could be around for a long time. I don't know if they have quite the depth that Penn State does, but.
You know, we saw Georgetown look like they were saving a few of their milers in that 4x15. Didn't see a couple of their guys there. So it's Rutgers, Iona.
2:13 for that split.
Still some solid athletes out here in our final women's 4x8. We've seen a lot of women's 4x8s this weekend, and this is the last one. So,
you know, the end of the Penn relays too, the last day, depending on what you've done with your personnel, some of these athletes are pretty tired, and they still have conference meetings coming up, so you always have to keep that in mind. So it's going to be interesting to see what some of these coaches have done.
As we come around for the final lap of the women's 4x8.
You know, going back to the Monmouth runner, I looked to see if he still has eligibility, and he does. Although I have 147.6 indoors for Capwell from Monmouth, so we'll see what he can do on his leg.
So Monmouth scheduled to run a later heat. Hopefully we get to see Capwell there. Rutgers, Iona, NYU. Rutgers way ahead right now.
So Monmouth men are in the second and third heat, huh?
We don't have that final heat breakdown yet. Right now it looks like they're not among like the top 12 or 15 seeds.
Okay.
But hopefully we'll see Capwell get to go at it with the Creases, the Kidders, those guys of the world. As it is all about Rutgers in this heat. Rutgers, the black, leading now by 50 meters here, Julie.
Yeah, definitely dominating.
Maybe I'm overestimating Penn short straight. It's more like a 30-meter lead. But Rutgers, Iona, Johns Hopkins now moving to third, NYU in fourth. Rutgers looking for time, just under 9 minutes here. 8:40 on the clock right now. So Rutgers will win it. We'll be in the mid 850s. Great performance from them. 856 as we cross Rutgers.
2:13 for that leg for the anchor of Rutgers.
Sounds like a consistent theme. 2:13 there for the Scarlet Knights. Rutgers, Iona, Hopkins, NYU coming across now. Temple behind them. Let's see, I'm sorry, that was Ryder, and I think that was Temple who just finished. See Joe behind them. As now, Julie, here we go. Collegiate men's 4x8.